this beautiful Sunday. Let's play a little jammy jam or something, and then let's get started with it. You feel me? Today we are going to listen to I don't really gonna do that one though. You know what I mean? Let's see if we can play. We could play the Holy Breath. You know what I mean? We could play the Holy Breath. We can play this one.
Before they pull us back, we was wrong. My name is my name on this song. One time for all the black ladies. We gonna keep it real today, though. Number 12 leader, the only one that came and told us what we was called before we was called Negroes, before we was called blacks, before we was called colors, before we was called African Americans, we was called Moors. Know that.
Still 3,500. We ain't true, just like see I was chosen. When we walk around the block, we often know we. What's happening? On this hip status, not hip hop. Reach up for the stars and you just might get us. Study up, to understand yourself. This is knowledge, this is wealth, and I'm talking Metal Gear Solid. Study under street, and I went to college. And I'm really being modest, but people don't like it when you. But honestly, I don't really give a. I don't care about your Bugattis or your bust down. And it's Syria, and linking up with all my. You don't hear me, visions of what kind of talk in real life. But my only listen to them feel nice. Oh, let that simmer in your soul. Drop a couple jewels, can I drop a few more? I am Ali with the flow. Before they call us black, we was. My name is my name on it. I speak the truth. If you know, then you know. Woo. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. We just had to get us. We had to get us going today. I hope you're doing all right out there. Peace, 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 peace. I'm Rami Salam Mail. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Let me open up a little chat thing with Jigger and drop the chapter in there. Today we are doing Moorish Koran class, chapter 37. We getting up there. We getting up there now. And let me just do a little of this and a little of that. Whoop. Bam. Oh yeah, we early out here, man. I have a photo shoot to do for some music and a studio session later. So it's kind of a jam-packed day today. So I said, man, let me get up and get this in early, cause I wouldn't have got it in later in the day. I dropped a link in there. Peace to y'all. We are doing chapter 37 from the Holy Koran, Circle 7, or the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It was divinely prepared by Noble Drew Ali, a universal prophet that was sent for all of humanity to help uplift all of humanity, but came specifically for the so-called black people, because we need him the most. So-called African Americans, so-called Negroes, so-called Afro-Americans, so-called colored, all of these labels. He came to let us know that's not us. We had an identity, we had a nationality, we had a culture, a creed, before we were enslaved here. But today we are focusing on chapter 37, which is the holy instructions from the prophet, the breath of heaven. So we're gonna read through this one. It is a few words in here that, well, it's quite a few words actually that needs looking up. But I'm gonna read through it first, and then we'll look up some of the words, talk about some of the points in the chapter, and then move on from there. Yeah. And so, let me stop this dripping. Come on, dog. You ain't trying to hear all that. Do it like that. Excuse me, huh? All right. Let's get to it. Chapter 37. And you can follow along with that link in there. Cool. I'll do it like that. You feel me? Oh, actually. Oops. One second. There we go. Chapter 37. The breath, the holy instructions from the prophet, the breath of heaven. Vaunt not the body, because it was first formed, nor thy brain, because therein the soul resideth. It is not the master of the house. Is not the master of the house more honorable than its walls? The ground must be prepared before corn can be planted. The potter must build his furnace before he can make his porcelain. As the breath of heaven saith unto the waters of the deep, this way shall thy billows roll and no other. Thus high and no higher shall they raise their fury. So let thy spirit, O man, actuate and direct thy flesh. So let it repress its wilderness. The body is as the globe of the earth, thy bones the pillars that sustain it on its basis. As the ocean give rise to springs, whose waters return again into its bosom through the rivers. As the ocean give rise to springs, whose waters return again into its bosoms through the rivers, so runneth the life from thy outwards, and so runneth it into its place again. Do not both retain their course forever? Behold, the same Allah ordains them. Is not thy nose the channel to perfumes, thy mouth the path to delicacies? Are not thine eyes the sentinels that watch for thee? Yet how often are they unable to distinguish truth from error? Oh. Keep thy soul in moderation. Teach thy spirit to be attentive to its good. So shall these it ministers be always to thee conveyances of the truth. Thy hand, is it not a miracle? Is there in the creation aught like unto it? Wherefore was it given thee? That's that wherefore again. Wherefore was it given thee? But that thou mightest stretch it out to the assistance of thy brother. Why of all things living art thou alone made capable of blushing? The world shall read thy shame upon thy face. Therefore, do nothing shameful. Fear and dismay, who rob thy countenance of its ruddy splendor. Avoid guilt, and thou shalt know that fear is beneath thee, that dismay is unnamely. Wherefore to thee alone, speak shadows in the vision of the pillow. Reverence them, for know that dreams are from on high. Wherefore to thee alone speak shadows in the vision of the pillow. Reverence them, for know that dreams are from on high. Thou man alone canst speak. Wonder at thy glorious prerogative, and pay to him who giveth to thee a rational and welcome praise, teaching thy children wisdom, instructing the offspring of thy loins in piety. Whew. Now this chapter here, man, this chapter takes some studying. One thing that I read that popped out immediately, it says, vaunt not, first line, vaunt not the body because it was first formed, nor the brain because therein the soul resided. So the soul resideth in the brain. But the soul isn't the brain. The soul is the mind. You feel me? It's in the brain, but it isn't the brain. The mind, the soul, in the brain, but it's not the brain. I noticed that right off the top. What was the other one that I saw here? It said simple. Why of all things living art thou alone made capable of blushing? Why? The world shall read thy shame upon thy face. Therefore, do nothing shameful. If you don't do nothing shameful, you won't be blushing. And it won't show on your face. Simple, man. I wanted to look up continence. I wanted to look up, line 13, fear and dismay who rob thy countenance. I wanted to look up countenance, the word countenance. I wanted to look up the word vaunt, VAUNT, and countenance is COUNTENANCE. And wilderness also. This line here is important. It says, as the breath of heaven saith unto the waters of the deep, this way shall thy billows roll and no other. Thus high and no higher shall they raise their fury. So let thy spirit, O man, actuate and direct thy flesh. So let it repress its wilderness. I'm going to start with wilderness right there. And the key, when we're studying, the key or the reason for looking up these words, you should do this with whatever you're studying. But whenever you're reading something in this Quran and you read a word that you don't know or you don't understand, take a second, pause where you're at, grab a dictionary. Today we are out of the new Oxford American Dictionary. Get your dictionary open. Look up the word, see what it means, understand what it means. And then go back into the text with the meaning so you can get a better understanding of what the text is actually saying. Appreciate it. I see Jonathan Scott Bay with the definition on vaunt. Vaunt is a verb to boast about or praise, especially excessively. So it's saying don't be praising and boasting about the body because it was first formed, nor thy brain because therein the soul resided. Don't be so boastful over the body or the soul. Is not the master, the one that created all of that, worthy of more praise than the house itself? Is not the one that created the body and the soul? Ooh, think about it now. Think about it. Let's get to wilderness real quick. Wilderness. And here it says wilderness, an uncultivated, uninhibited, and unhospitable region, a neglected or abandoned area of a garden or town, figurative, a position of disfavor, especially in a political context. A voice in the wilderness. Yeah. And a position of disfavor. That doesn't quite make sense to me. So let thy spirit, O man, actuate and direct thy flesh. So let it repress its wilderness. Let the spirit repress its wilderness. Repress its position of disfavor? Nah. And this is a good point while we're at it. Sometimes you may need to look it up in 2 or 3 different dictionaries. Maybe that one dictionary doesn't give you a full definition that you may be able to comprehend better. Luckily for me, I got another dictionary. Random House Dictionary of the English Language, 2nd edition, unabridged. Let's walk on down. Oh, snap. They got a Spanish-English part in here. I didn't know that. Let's check it out in here. Wildcat. Wild, wilderness. Okay. A wild and uncultivated region as of a forest or desert. A tract of land, any desolate tract, a part of a garden, a bewildering mass or collection. Wilderness, Old English, equivalent to either wild beasts or wilderun, wild savage. There we go. So when we get into the etymology of the word, it breaks it down to to wild beasts, wildor, or wilderen, WILDDEOREN. That's Old English for wild savage. Now that makes a little more sense. So let it repress its the wild savageness. So let thy spirit repress its wild beast. More time to study. For me personally, in a situation like this, if I wasn't actually on live, I just get more into looking up wilderness in the Bible, etymology of wilderness, synonyms of wilderness, get a thesaurus if you can. Look on some other dictionaries online if you can. Do as much research as you can to help paint the best picture possible for your understanding. But we're gonna move on from wilderness. I'll put the dictionaries down. Continents. Countermine, counterpart. Countenance. Countenance. Appearance, especially the look or expression of the face. The face, the visage, calm facial expression or composure, approval or favor, encouragement or moral support, bearing or behavior. To permit or tolerate, you should not have countenance his rudeness. To approve, support, or encourage. Let's see here. Going back to the line in the book here. Fear and dismay, who rob thy countenance of its ruddy splendor, who rob the look or expression of the face, the calm facial expression. Gotcha. Fear and dismay, who rob the calm the calm, composed facial expression of his who robbed the countenance of its ruddy splendor. Avoid guilt, and thou shalt know that fear is beneath thee, that dismay is unnamely. Ah, and then that line right before it is talking about shame and blushing, and so not doing nothing shameful. Countenance, the appearance, especially the look or expression of the face. Fear and dismay who rob the look or expression of the face of its ruddy splendor. And what is ruddy? Why are we here? And excuse me if this isn't moving as quickly as some of the other classes, but it's a lot of words in this chapter that you should look up, get the definition on, contemplate on, reflect on, make sure you understand it. Ruddy, Ruddy. Ruddy, of or having a fresh, healthy red color. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, having a fresh, healthy red color, a ruddy complexion, red or reddish. Brit slang, damned or ruddy fool. I don't think they're talking about slang. A fresh, healthy red color. So rob the expression of his face of his healthy red color and splendor, fear and dismay. Oh, duh, because when you fear, you like turn all white. Ah, right? You not calm? Got it. Okay. Okay. All right. We rolling somewhere. We rolling somewhere. Um. uh. Was there any other word I wanted to look up? Vaughn. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. We got the definition. Jonathan, appreciate the definition, but just to be safe, just to be sure, because as the teachers in the Quran, man knows nothing by being told. So we don't just want to believe, even though I'm almost positive. Here we go. Vaunt, to speak vainglorious of, boast of, to speak boastfully, to brag, a boastful action or utterance. Oh, and then in the etymology of it, medieval. What is imi? I forget imi at the moment. Um, but it's breaking it down to veneer, derivative of Latin vanus, vain. Got you. So it's talking about boastful action and utterance, to speak vainglorious of, you know. So vaunt not the body. Don't boast or brag about the body. We got that. We got that. We got that. But that especially now that I'm thinking about it. On not the body because it was first formed. I'll hold that one to myself right now. Middle English. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so we looked up continents, vaunt, wilderness. If I was by myself, what are some other ones? And then we also looked at, what was that last one we just looked up? There was one more. But if I was by myself, I would also look up wherefore again, if you don't know what wherefore means. It was another one that therein, because therein the soul resideth, but I think you have an idea, but you can just double check. It was another word that I had seen. Conveyances? Nah, that wasn't it. Art. That's what I want to look up. We looked this up some chapters ago, but it's good to run it back because it was mentioned in a powerful line. It says, "Thy hand, is it not a miracle? Is there in the creation? Is there in in the creation aught like unto it? Is there in creation aught like unto our hand?" And it's saying our hand is a miracle. And I just want to look up aught real quick in case you've heard the word or seen the word, but you say, I don't really know what it means. I'm just rolling right now because, I don't feel like looking it up. Nah, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Auschwitz. We're looking for Auschwitz. Aught. Aught means anything, whatever, any part. Archaic in any degree, at all, in any respect. So again, it says, is there in creation anything like unto our hand? Is it not a miracle? Wherefore was it given thee, our hand, but that thou might stretch it out in assistance to thy brother? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's a miracle that we got these things. And what for, but not to help out and help our brother or sister up. You know what I mean? To help uplift humanity. You feel me? Let's see. Really, man. Yeah, I just highlight this again, and then I'll close up. It says line 6. I'll do line 5 through 7. Thy body is as the globe of the earth, the bones, the pillars that sustain it on its basis. The bones, the pillars that sustain it on its basis. As the ocean give rise to springs, whose waters return again into its bosom through the rivers, so runneth the life from thy outwards, and so runneth it into its place again. As the ocean give rise to springs, so the springs come from the ocean, big mass body of water, right? The water comes from the ocean. It's in the springs, and then those springs, through the rivers, return back to the ocean. Return the water back to the ocean. We also have some life in us, right? And this life, which is in us, runs its course and outward back into the ocean, back into Allah. Oh, come on now. Come on now. Line 7. Do not both retain their course forever? Behold, the same Allah ordained them. The same one, the same creator that created the oceans and the rivers and the springs and the lakes. The same one that created the waves and said, hey, we only gonna go this high. The water, you know how like the seas, the two seas, where they meet up but they don't intertwine. Have you ever looked that up? Is it the Indian and the Atlantic that meet and don't mix? Look up two seas that meet but don't mix. Okay. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. That's what it is. Pacific and Atlantic. I'm not gonna ruin it for you. I want you to look into that, but just look into how the two different kinds of seas or oceans meet but don't mix. Who's the one that did that? The same one that directed the course of the stars, the same one that set everything up, the same one that gave us our body and our soul. Same one. It's only one. Some people call him God. Some people say Most High. Some people say Jehovah. Some people say Allah. But everywhere he is the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things spring forth. Come on, man. Come on, man. Anyways, that is chapter 37. Man, I humbly advise me myself. Actually, I'm gonna read this chapter over once I get off this live, and just study it and study it and study it some more, because this chapter is more poetic than some of the other chapters. I mean, it is telling us directly on some things, but the language in it is very poetic, and it has I feel it has a lot of meanings that you need to kind of really read over, reflect, sit and think on for a second. Excuse me, because it drops little jewels here and there if you really pay attention. Talking about dreams, the dreams are from on high, and on high that's a phrase that I've seen before. On high, idiom. Ah, see. Um, Idiom is a what does idiom mean? Actually, idiom is a speech form or an expression of a given language that is peculiar to itself, grammatically, or cannot be understood from the individual meaning of its elements, as in keep tabs on. Ah, okay. So those phrases, those are called idioms. Keep tabs on, keep tabs on such and such. If you just took keep tabs on, you may not understand what it means. And on high is an idiom that is defined as in heaven or the heavens, in a position of power, influence, or authority. It is said that our Lord sits on high with a plan for each and every one of us. As children, we used to stare into the night sky, fixing our eyes on high, trying to understand the enormity of the cosmos. So, bringing it back to the book, wherefore to thee alone speak shadows in the vision of the pillow. Reverence them, for know that dreams are from on high, are from the heavens. For example, oh, that's deep. Because in the Oral Statements and Prophecies book by Noble Drali, it speaks about it speaks about one of the Moors saying that Noble Drali said, "If you see me in a dream, it is as if you saw me in real life." Something to think about. Know that the dreams are from on high. Ooh, something to think about. Just saying. Just saying. Um, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for this one. Study this chapter. Yeah, got to study this chapter. There's a lot of little jewels and little things in here, man. Yeah, buddy. All right, that was chapter 37. Next week, chapter 38, the soul of man. Oh, I wish I could read it, do it right now, because we was talking about the soul already. Um, let's remember that this line for next week. Um, the soul, vaunt not the body because it was first formed, nor thy brain because therein the soul resideth. So in the brain, the soul resideth. And next week, we're going to be talking about the soul of man. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's a big chapter, but all right, let me close that up. I don't even want to get into the chapter. But that's a great chapter. One of my favorite chapters. I think that's all for chapter 37. Did you have any questions? Anybody have any questions in regards to the chapter? Or more science in general? again, chapter 37 from the Quran. The Quran, circle 7, holy instructions from the Prophet, the breath of heaven. And even that, thinking about that, the breath of heaven. What does that mean? What does breath mean, really? Air. The air of heaven, the breath of heaven. A slight breeze, a spoken sound, a spirit or animation. A spoken sound. A breath is an utterance, a spoken sound. An utterance of heaven. The breath of heaven, an utterance of heaven, or the spirit of heaven. That's deep. Glad I looked up breath. I gotta look more into that actually. Because we're talking about going back to chapter 1, now that we are in there. What did I see in chapter 1? Oh no, chapter 2. The holy breath, duh. Chapter 2, teach that the holy breath would make them one again. The Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit will make them one again? The holy breath would make them one again. The holy utterance would make them one again? Some more studying got to do. But a key right here is that a definition of breath is a spoken sound and utterance. It's also defined as spirit, animation. So the Holy Spirit, the holy breath. Oh, wait. Got some more studying to do. Anyway, sorry. I don't see any more questions. So I think that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Did anyone have any more questions before I get up out of here? I can answer this one. Someone asked me this yesterday. Shout out to King Amir. Thank you sincerely for responding. I just really need some tips on protocol on what to do after proclaiming. And that's in reference to proclaiming our nationality, which is Moorish American. If you don't know, we're Moorish Americans, because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. And to answer that question, what is the protocol after proclaiming? And I said this to him, is that, I really don't, there really isn't a instruction manual or booklet or protocol and procedures laid out, that's authentic, that everyone agrees on. This is the official Moorish American protocol for what to do after proclaiming a nationality. Step 1, step 2, there's nothing like that that's laid out for us. And even the act of proclaiming your nationality, that in itself, there isn't a clearly defined and agreed upon process that we all currently follow. And the reason for that, we don't have a Supreme Grand Council. There you go. We thought he had forgot about it, but he didn't. We didn't bring it right on back around. Jokes aside, again, that central governing, administrative component, to our movement, to our organization, is not functioning properly. And without it, it's a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of people saying, I think we should be doing this. Oh, well, such and such said we should be doing that. Well, I'm going to do it this way. And man, my folks over here, you say you ain't even got to do all that. Just pay me $50 and I got the hook. You know what I mean? We got so many people doing their own thing. So many people teaching this information or claiming to teach this information, claiming to teach more science, but not following the guidelines, not following the principles that come with this stuff. Not come with this stuff, but they come with this information, come with this creed, this way of life um, that was sent to us by a prophet, a divine, universal, holy prophet sent from our Creator. Laid it out for us. We need to follow His instructions, and we not following them. And so, as a result, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of people that are not doing what they're supposed to do in this movement. And until we correct that, until we get the Supreme Grand Council back in order, we will continue to have these issues. I think that's it for today. I don't see no other questions. Yeah, I don't see any other questions, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. I was trying to get some sort of piece I could read before I close it out. It's not part of the chapter, but still want to just want to drop a little something on you. Yeah. I just dropped this last little jewel on you before I get up out of here. Peace, 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 Hakeem. Oh, my fault. Shout out to people that was in the chat. Hakeem Amir Malik, Jonathan Scott Bay, Masnito. I think that's Magneto, like Magneto TV. Shout out to you. And shout out to everybody that's watching this, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching, 2 years from now, whatever. Much love to you. I wanted to leave this with you, then I'm going to get up out of here. It says, he is the greater man who conquers self than he who kills 1,000 men in war. He is the noble man who is himself what he believes that other men should be. Return to him who does you wrong your purest love, and he will cease from doing wrong, for love will purify the heart of him who is beloved, as truly as it purifies the heart of him who loves. The words of Buddha are recorded in the Indian sacred books. Attended them, for they are a part of the holy instructions of the holy breath. And what are we talking about breath? I didn't even see that part. They just read it. Oh, boy. That was coming from the mysteries of the Silent Brotherhood of the East. We're not even gonna get into all of that. That's a whole nother situation. But that is all for now. I gotta get going. Get myself ready for today. That was chapter 37. Next week we'll be on chapter 38. Oh, please tap in for that. That's gonna be good. Thank you for watching. Please study. Don't believe what I said. Don't believe when I'm reading out the chapter just because it's coming from me. Look it up for yourself. Click the link. Investigate on your own. Look up these definitions. Reread the chapter. Reflect on these lines and what they're saying. Um, uh, and read the other chapters also. Don't do, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, that's it. Study, keep shining, man. Last but not least, gotta put the love in it. You know what I mean? We reading this book, the Quran Circle 7. You know, one of the main things that it tells us to do, aside from knowing yourself and knowing Allah, is to learn to love instead of hate. If you don't got the love in it, man, whether it's studying, whether it's you know, being an example of a Moorish American, um, the nobleman being himself, what he thinks other or what she thinks other people should be, um, talking about religion with maybe a brother or sister, a family member who's Christian, and you trying to share them with some information about Jesus. They may not know. Whether you're teaching about our so-called black people, so-called African Americans, whether you're teaching our people about nationality and Moors and our religious creed and birthright and the history, whether you do any of this stuff, Moor science, anything to do with this stuff, well, anything in life really, but particularly with this, gotta have the love in it. If you don't got the love in it, if you're not uh, radiating that energy, if you're not coming with that energy, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna help uplift our people. Um, and it's really because this is, if you think about this as the cure, if you think about this, not a no vaccine, you know what I mean? But if you think of this as a real deal, Holyfield cure, you know what I mean? For the ills of society, right? If you put some, if you put some poison in that cure, well, you diluting the effectiveness of it. You know what I mean? If you put a little rat poisoning in the cure, you know what I mean? Are you really helping the people? Are you really helping the cure and uplift the people? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's diluted. You know what I mean? You put a little mix on that. We ain't feeling that. So you gotta keep the love in that thing. You gotta put that love. Don't get the hate. Get that hate up out of there. Get the ego. Get the that anger. Get that frustration. Move that up out of you. Move with the love. Move with the kindness, and that is what's gonna connect with our people. That's what's gonna help us. Matter of fact. Let me close with this. Mm. Mm. I'm going to the corner store, and got my things in. I'm bobbing and jamming. Boom, boom, about to pay. And I say what's up to my brother. You know, it's corner store I go to a lot. And he's looking at me kind of agitated almost. And he says, what's that? What does that mean? And he's pointing to my tattoo, right? And I said, oh, it means love. Look at me, and he like, you know, why did you get that, right? And I said, oh well, in short, I appreciate different cultures, and it's a way for me to connect with people. Blah 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 blah. And I was explaining I got this one in peace, and he said oh, and he took a second, and he said this is Hebrew if you didn't know. He said this is the language of my enemy. So I grew up and I never learned to read that language. I hate that language. Um, I want nothing to do with that language. I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? And I'm like, on the inside, but I was like, I'm listening. And I said, oh, brother, where you from? Palestine. I said, that's interesting. So then we got into a conversation about Palestine, and he grew up in Jerusalem. Palestine is what many people now know as Israel. Um, and if you look into the history and you look into what's going on, even to this current moment, there's some vicious things being done to our sisters and brothers, our Palestinian sisters and brothers. Um, and oftentimes it is people uh, who are calling themselves Jewish, Jews, and using Hebrew. That's the the language over there. And so we're building and talking. He was like, I grew up such and such right from where Jesus was, and blah, blah, blah. And I asked him about the Temple Mount, because if you do your studying in the history, if you do the study and the research into the Temple Mount, it's a magnificent temple out there, and it has several different entrances. And one of the entrances is the Gate of the Moors, or the Moors Gate, or Moroccan Gate. And he was explaining that there's actually a whole neighborhood right there, because Moors, when they came to the temple and went on the pilgrimage, some of them was like, man, it's too far of a trip. I ain't going back. So they set up a neighborhood right there, right by that gate. Um, Long story short, I'm just listening to him, and I'm expressing to him that I understand completely, and I have a lot of love for the Palestinian brothers and sisters, because we are suffering um, a very similar condition to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Not the same, but very similar. Um, and I was just showing him love, you know what I mean? And he told me at the end of the discussion, he said, you know what? I was wrong for hating the language, and having that energy to not even learn it, because I don't even understand what my quote unquote enemy is saying. Um, and I said much love to him, and I left and went on my way. I say all of that to say this tattoo literally means love, and I'm walking with love. And if I didn't have that love in me, if I didn't have, if I wasn't working to move with love at all times, we may not have had that dialogue. I may not have never known this brother that I've been going to this corner store for ages. My dad used to go here, right? He from Palestine. Would have never known that. So now we got something that we can build on further. I'm gonna go back and ask him some more things. Um, he changed his perception. You know what I mean? It helped him open his mind up and realize, maybe I shouldn't just be so quick to hate, even though these people did me wrong, and doing my people wrong, etc., etc. But let me put a little love in there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he gonna learn Hebrew tomorrow, but what I am saying is that love is the key, man. Love is, if we put that love in it, little by little, step by step, we're gonna make a difference in this world. You know what I mean? All right. Now I'm done with the stories. Appreciate y'all listening. Uh, One love to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. If anybody is from Palestine, or somebody from Palestine, much love to them. Pray for Palestine. Pray for our people in Palestine. Pray for all our people, and pray for any people anywhere that's being oppressed. Um, yeah, that's it. That's it. Much love. Keep shining. Peace.